This faucet's been leaking for some time, so finally decided to take it apart. My guess it's a rubber seal, rubber washer. You want to make sure that your water's totally turned off and not leaking. Some of them you can turn them off and they still leak a little bit. And make sure your drain plugs are in so you don't lose any small parts. Take your cap out of here. Then you can get to your screw. It takes a Phillips head screw, or a screwdriver. It's a very, very small screw. $100. Tape your screw out. All comes out in one piece, and just leave it inside. You can see there's a locking mechanism, so they go back a certain way so they lock and turn. And then take a pair of channel locks or something, and this is a nut. Turn this nut on here, loosen it up. Now when you pull this up out of here, there'll probably be some water come out. That's just what's laying in the pipe area. Just wiggle it a little bit and pull it up out of there. A little different to me because this has got actually a copper bottom. But I'm guessing this little tiny rubber seal here is wore out. And since I don't have any, I'll have to go and see about getting some, or take it to the store. And then down inside of this is a little tiny rubber insert. With this piece, as you turn it, it goes into these holes, lets the water come out. And right here it stops it, so it could be this piece that's leaking and not these. So I'll have to check with both parts. This little rubber piece just goes down in here. And goes into that hole. Also, underneath this little cap that's down in the very bottom below this, after you take this off, then you got this little cap. Well, underneath it is also, down inside here, is a spring. It's big on one end, small on the other end. And the small end goes up into the rubber piece as you put these two pieces back together. Pretty self-explanatory because the big end don't want to fit anyway. So it's small end goes up there. So to get this in here, I guess I need to set this in here, this little hole down in here, with some needle nose pliers. Then your cap fits down over top of it. Not the easiest thing to get to. You don't want to squeeze very hard because you could mess the seal up on this. They're by Glacier Bay for 2-handle faucets. And it comes with the spring and the seat. So they was a lot better, a lot more help for finding a part than they were at Lowe's. When you put this spring and seat in here, you got the big end that goes down and the smaller end goes up. And you can put them in together, but you just have to work it around. And you got to press this down enough to get this seated in here. So I just got done putting that spring and seat down in here. And I found the best way for me, because I got big fingers, was taking the end of a spatula, and I was able to put it around on here and work this and push this spring and seat down in here till it actually locked in place, and that made a big difference. It helped quite a bit. So I'll put this new cartridge in here. You got this little piece here, it's made different, but you want to put them in about the same way that you took them out. Doesn't hurt to have just a little bit of water on it to make it a little bit slipperier. I've got the seat and spring down in there. You actually have a little divot or whatever you call it right here, and 2 little notches right here, so it's pretty easy to put back in and put them in the right spot. You can feel the new spring. Apparently the new springs work a lot better. Maybe that's one reason it was leaking. But you want these other pieces in towards your faucet here after you get it into those slots. Then your ring goes on, steel ring, to put it back in place. You can use vice grips, but you could skin it up a little bit, or you can put something around it. Or you can use a little bit of a small wrench at the top. You don't want to over tighten, because a lot of this stuff is plastic and you end up tearing a whole bunch of stuff up and breaking it real easy. So once this is set in here, just put your, and there's different type nuts. The ones that are metal, they come apart different than what these plastic insert ones do. You want them good and snug, but not over tightened to the point that you could strip or break something out. And your faucet with the screw in there should pretty much fit into place. Then after you get this lined up with your screw in here, before you tighten it, you can see on and off. Then you turn your water back on from underneath the sink. Check to see if it's working or not, or any leaks. So far so good.